Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Classified Captures. Prepare for excitement that will have your hands clenching to your seats and your heart racing in ways you never thought were possible. Ready? Let's jump right into it. Hunting is a profession that's definitely not for the faint of heart. Not only is it dangerous, but more often than not, they encounter things they can't explain. This clip is one of such encounters, but fortunately for us, the hunter had a camera on him. Now, the hunter recording is hidden in a hunter's blind, which is a setup used by hunters to hide from wild animals. This means that although the creature we are seeing is merely 20 feet from him, the hunter is camouflaged. As you can see, this creature, however, possesses higher intelligence than your average animal, as he spotted the blind and is trying to be careful. It has fur all around, and if you didn't know any better, you'd say it's an ape. But when you look closer, you realize it's not. It seems to possess human-like capabilities, yet has the fur of, say, an ape or a bear. It didn't take too long for the paranormal community to declare this as a Bigfoot once the footage was uploaded. Take a look at the footage. I can't help but agree. This is certainly one of the clearest and most up-close footage of Bigfoot that we have ever had on this channel. But is it authentic? Is it real? None can 100% confirm it, but I'm willing to take a leap of faith. What about you? This next footage was captured by a trail cam that was supposed to be well hidden from wildlife, but for some reason, one creature was able to sniff it out. And guess what? It didn't exactly look natural. Take a look. Do you see it? We've seen lots of wolves on this channel, and believe me when I tell you, they typically don't look like that. If you pay attention to the footage, you'll realize that the creature almost looks humanoid. It appears to be bipedal with shoulders et al. You and I know wolves are quadrupeds, which means they walk on 4 legs. This makes us believe that we could be dealing with a werewolf or something along those lines. What do you think, though? Do you see what I'm seeing, or am I simply reading too much into a simple capture? In this image, we're introduced to a hairless bear, which at first glance might remind you of a lion with its distinctive mane. However, this is indeed a bear. The image was captured in Leipzig, a city in Germany, and it's within the confines of a local zoo. The zoo's garnered attention for its rather peculiar condition of some of its female bears, one of which is Dolores. She's noticeably devoid of fur, an appearance that's quite uncommon for a bear. The mysterious hair loss in these bears has left experts puzzled, and despite extensive investigation, a conclusive cause remains elusive. A sighting of an otherworldly-looking creature in the woods is bound to pique anyone's curiosity and raise questions about the mysteries of the natural world. In this instance, the creature sports a striking appearance that's nothing short of alien. I mean, it's barely visible in the bushes, but looking closely, you can see it. Its eyes betray it with an eerie glow that makes it impossible to not spot it. Despite spotting a face and eyes, we still can't see the creature. Does anyone know what this is? Could it be a known wild animal, or is this truly an otherworldly and extraterrestrial encounter? Share your thoughts with me in the comments section. Have you ever wondered what Bigfoot sounded like? Does it speak intelligibly? If it does it sound Irish, British, or perhaps even Italian? These questions have plagued my mind for a long time, and this next footage is perhaps an answer to that.
What the fuck is that noise?
Did you hear that? The uploader of the footage states that they are Bigfoot vocalizations from the area where he lives. Bigfoot sightings have been regular there, and if anything, the sightings have increased. They hear these vocalizations. While this is certainly not what I expected, it's certainly an answer. One question still remains. Is this authentic? If it is this the only sound they actually make, or is there more? Mysterious trail cam images like these can indeed boggle the mind and stir the imagination. In the first image, we're presented with a worm-like creature featuring an eerie human arm, which is truly grotesque and an unsettling sight. The creature resembles a fleshy blob that seems more at home in a sci-fi horror movie than in the depths of the wilderness. In the subsequent image, we encounter a creature that bears some similarities, but with an added eerie twist. This time, it sports two large fangs protruding from its mouth, along with a set of razor-sharp teeth. The contrast between the two images is enough to leave anyone pondering the nature of these mysterious creatures. Are they the result of some natural anomaly? Are we dealing with an optical illusion or a prankster's creation? Whatever the case is, these trail cam images are unsettling, and I pray no one has to encounter creatures such as these. Before you watch the next clip, could you please hit the like button, subscribe, and even drop a comment if you haven't already? It goes a long way to make it possible to create more videos for you. Thank you for doing so. Moving back to the day's episode. Here we have a classic case of something that could easily be mistaken for a paranormal encounter in the woods. In this piece of disturbing footage, we see a creature which appears to be slender and tall moving through the woods. The footage appears to have been taken from a window, which means it was taken closer to civilization. Could this be the Slender Man we've always heard about? Could its true form be what we are seeing, or is this simply another entity altogether? It's hard for us to say, but do tell us what you think. Nighttime intruders can be a cause for alarm and uncertainty, especially when they take on a strange and unsettling appearance. In this case, a homeowner was awakened by the sound of his dog barking and scratching at the door. Investigating the commotion, he was confronted with an unusual creature peering through the glass window, a sight like nothing he had ever seen before. What could this thing be? As far as he could tell, it looked like a canine, but with markings on its face that he'd never seen before. He uploaded the footage online, and the community has been divided about it. That doesn't help the owner, as encounters like these can be deeply disconcerting, leaving the observer with more questions than answers. In this case, there's also a concern for safety because his dog is scared of the creature and only barks from afar when the animal visits. Can anyone help? A walk in these woods with your child can be a peaceful and picturesque experience, but when your child's gaze fixates on something that makes your heart race, it's a moment that's sure to leave you scared for life. That's the unfortunate reality of these individuals in our next clip. Take a look. As the camera is turned toward the direction of your child's fascination, the footage reveals a figure among the trees. Upon closer inspection, it becomes clear that this is no ordinary woodland encounter. The creature appears to be a humanoid figure shrouded in cloth like a mummy, a sight that's unsettling and haunting. They hope that this might be some sort of Halloween prank, but this wasn't taken during Halloween. They walk away from the incident unscathed, but scarred for life. Encounters with creatures like Bigfoot are the stuff of legends and campfire tales, but for one man in Tennessee, it became a very real and unforgettable experience. It all began with strange vocalizations echoing through the lush green lands, a haunting combination of howls and growls. Intrigued, the man decided to follow the eerie sounds. His journey led him to a set of enormous footprints in the mud, tracks that were far too large to belong to a human. The discovery added an extra layer of mystery and intrigue to the situation. As he was inspecting the prints, the man's heart must have raced when he heard rustling leaves in the brush ahead. He turned to find himself face to face with a peeking Bigfoot. The creature stared at him, a moment frozen in time before vanishing into the woods. Sometimes reality can be so bewildering that it seems to validate our wildest imaginations. In this peculiar footage, the scene is reminiscent of a simple stick figure drawing we've all created. A slender figure, almost like a living stick figure, is captured on a snowy path in the dead of night. The image is surreal, as if someone's childhood sketch has come to life. The figure's upper part is shrouded in darkness, adding an extra layer of mystique. But what's undeniable are the long, spindly legs moving with an otherworldly grace. Could it be a trick of the light, a creature unknown to science, or just a clever optical illusion? The mystery persists, much like those stick figures we used to draw as kids. On that note, if you still haven't liked, commented, or subscribed to the channel yet, please do so now before I send that creature after you. On a more serious note, it really helps us out a ton and gives us the opportunity to keep making these videos for you. So please do so and share this video with your friends and family. Thank you very much. A possible Rake sighting is certainly an intriguing and spine-tingling prospect. In the heart of the night, a peculiar creature is discovered perched on a wooden structure within a field. The creature is characterized by its glowing eyes and a body that appears eerily human and crouched. This unsettling presence sits atop the structure for a time, an eerie silhouette against the darkness. Then, with an almost supernatural grace, it jumps off and vanishes into the obscurity of the night. Whether this is indeed a sighting of a Rake or something else entirely remains a mystery, but it's an encounter that tantalizes the imagination, does it not? Now you must be wondering, is that real or is it CGI? If it's real, is it alien? Well, no, it's not. It's an actual frog. The purple frog, scientifically known as Nacicabactrachus siadrensis, is indeed a fascinating and peculiar creature. This species of frog is native to the Western Ghats in India, a region known for its rich biodiversity. The purple frog gets its name from its unique appearance. It has a purplish-brown colorization and a distinctive, somewhat bulbous body shape. What makes the purple frog particularly interesting is its unusual lifestyle. It spends most of its life underground, surfacing only during the monsoon season for a short period to breed. It has specialized adaptations for subterranean life, including a snout-like nose that helps it burrow in the soil. These frogs are considered living fossils because they represent an ancient lineage of frogs that has been around for a very long time. YouTube drones have opened up a whole new realm of possibilities for exploration and discovery, and occasionally they capture something truly intriguing. In this instance, as a drone was surveying a property, it stumbled upon a creature moving below. The creature's appearance was remarkably human, but its size and the presence of dark fur led everyone who saw it to believe that they had encountered a Bigfoot. While skepticism and debates surround the existence of Bigfoot, these encounters continue to fuel the mystery and fascination surrounding this cryptid. Encounters with mysterious and potentially menacing intruders can be deeply unsettling, especially when they defy easy explanations. In this case, a person on a farm spots an intruder from a distance, but what they see is not someone they could simply approach and ask to leave the property. As they zoom in on the footage, the features of the creature come into focus, and it bears a striking resemblance to the elusive Rake. The fear and uncertainty of the situation leave the farmer standing at a distance, watching the creature with a mix of awe and trepidation. Hikers often come across some of the most breathtaking and mysterious sights in the great outdoors, and spotting a creature on the mountain is an experience that can leave anyone spellbound. In this case, the hiker caught sight of a creature that bore a resemblance to the legendary Bigfoot, but the footage was captured at a distance and wasn't clear enough for a definitive identification. The only way for someone to stand out from that far out was for it to be considerably large. Given that this was captured on a mountain with what looks like fur on its body, we can only assume that's a Bigfoot. If you think otherwise, I'd love to hear your thoughts. If I didn't know any better, I would assume that this is a seal chewing gum, but it's an actual species of seal called the hooded seal. Hooded seals are indeed a fascinating and unique species, known for their distinct nasal hood that males can inflate and the striking appearance it gives them. Comparing one to a seal chewing gum is a whimsical and creative way to describe their appearance. These seals are well adapted to their cold and challenging environments, primarily found in the Arctic and North Atlantic. While they may not be engaging in chewing gum, their behavior and features are captivating in their own right. Hooded seals are skilled swimmers, spending much of their lives in the ocean and occasionally coming ashore for breeding and molting. Seen one? Tell us your experience. The allure of the unknown and the mysterious can sometimes lead to fascinating tales and unexpected discoveries. In the case of the Costa Rican fishermen back in 2011, their encounter with a peculiar sea creature must have been a thrilling experience. The creature's strange movements in the sea and its unfamiliar appearance sparked their curiosity, leading them to capture and bring it home to share their discoveries with others. It's not uncommon for such encounters to evoke thoughts of aliens or paranormal creatures, especially when faced with something entirely out of the realm of one's usual experiences. I dug deeper concerning this story and found many sources calling it a hoax, because the website that posted it had disappeared and the individual is also nowhere to be found. Given this circumstance, they concluded that the story was made up and that they probably altered an image of a stingray. What if that's not the situation, though? What if he found something and was captured to keep him silent? I guess we'll never know. Imagine you owned a flock of sheep and woke up one morning to see them doing this. If you're as suspicious as I am, your first conclusion would be a spirit came and possessed your sheep or something. The flock started going in circles without any reason. The farmer who owned them thought nothing of it. Initially, it started with just a couple of them going in circles, but after a whole week, all the sheep had joined in on the circus act going around in a circle. Naturally, the farmer was alarmed, but there was nothing to help this sheep. He even had no explanation for the behavior. Could it be that they were worshipping some unseen being? Well, we'll never know. But we do know this. Scientists suspect that the sheep might have been suffering from a bacterial disease known as listeriosis that causes similar symptoms in sheep with depression, fever, and in extreme situations, paralysis in tow. In fact, it is the circling disease. The illness is transmitted through contaminated animal food, soil, and, well, feces. So, mystery solved? Well, not exactly. Sheep suffering from this condition die off within 48 hours, but these sheep continued for at least a week or more. Could it have been something entirely different? Was there really some demonic power at play? Well, we'll never know. But what do you think? Bigfoot, Bigfoot, Bigfoot. We just can't get enough of the enigmatic creature. It's said to share the likeness of a human and an ape, and the mention of its name always leads to a heated debate in the paranormal community. Some claim that the various bits of footage we have seen of the creature so far are nothing but a hoax, while others strongly subscribe to the idea that they're real. But what do you think? Before you give your opinion, you might want to judge this footage and then judge for yourself. This trail cam footage surfaced in 2010 after the owner realized he'd actually recorded something interesting walking through the woods. Look carefully. It looks like an ape-like creature due to its physique and fur. A second look at it, however, will also reveal its human-like mannerisms and even moves like one. Despite the marriage of all these features, it's hard to call it human given all the fur it has, and also hard to call it an ape given its human-like features. What then is it? Your guess is as good as mine. Bigfoot? Some don't think so and say it could be a person in a costume, but I highly doubt that. Others claim it's edited footage, which isn't impossible, but I don't think it is. I really do believe this is one of the earlier footages of Bigfoot. Beyond the description I've given so far, it's said to be around 8 feet tall. How many humans do you know that are that tall? Running into unidentified creatures can be very nerve-wracking, especially if they're deadly-looking and have the potential to harm you. This was exactly how the owners of this footage felt when they ran into the dead creature in the footage. It didn't look anything like they'd encountered before, and they were also not particularly sure what it was. Looking at it now, I'm convinced it might be a mole or a sloth even, but I can't say for sure what it is. Can you help out? What do you think they're dealing with here? A normal, everyday creature that we're finding hard to identify, or a mutated creature that could potentially prove harmful to us? Kindly share your thoughts with us in the comments section. This is one of the cutest things you will ever see. This panda bear is climbing a tree that clearly cannot hold its weight. It balances its arms on one branch and its legs on a rather smaller branch, which immediately snaps, leaving the panda swinging from the tree with its arms. But it looks like this cutie is determined to remain on that tree, so it latches its legs onto another branch. After finding a comfortable position to remain on the tree, the panda relaxes and basks in the cold snow falling. Who said brown bears were the only good climbing bears? Humans are often quick to make a fuss over things they don't understand. The owner of this footage was driving one night when he came across a strange-looking animal crossing its path. The animal looks so strange that it's difficult to tell its head from its tail. So the curious driver got down to take a better look at the creature and realized it was two animals in one. As strange as it may seem, the creature was actually carrying another dead animal on its back. It's difficult to see this in the footage, but the animal appears to have sharply pointed ears like those of a wolf or coyote, as if it's carrying a midnight snack on its back. So there's no need to panic, folks. This isn't an alien or an unknown mystical creature, but we have to wonder, how did that creature end up on its back? Imagine walking into the woods and seeing this staring at you. What would be the first thing to run through your mind? This trail cam capture is eerily reminiscent of the previous image taken in the park. Once again, we're confronted with a bizarre creature, but this time its appearance is even more unsettling. This enigmatic being possesses a peculiar skeletal face, and its entire body is shrouded in a thick layer of hair. The creature appears to be standing amid a tangle of bushes, its unblinking gaze fixed directly upon the camera. What can we make of this mysterious entity? What strange force or presence could lead to such an eerie encounter? These questions linger, shrouding this image in an unsettling aura of the unknown. In a world filled with inexplicable mysteries, this image stands out as one of the most perplexing. Captured in a park, it presents a grotesque sight that defies easy categorization. One might be tempted to liken it to a mummified human head, but the presence of hair covering its entire body suggests otherwise. It's hard to say. When I saw the footage, I initially thought it might be a woman with burn marks sitting on a tree, screaming in pain. I mean, it would be strange to capture something like this in the woods, but trail cams capture weird things all the time. I was about to dismiss this whole thing when I saw that it had talons for feet. Can you see it too? All of a sudden, it becomes apparent that the image is not so ordinary. There's some supernatural element to it. Could we be dealing with a witch? Was she injured in transit, or is the whole thing simply a well-curated hoax? Share your thoughts with us. Here's another intriguing piece of footage that joins the ranks of potential Bigfoot encounters in the wild. In this instance, a hiker exploring the woods stumbled upon a captivating sight. As the hiker ventured through the forest, their attention was drawn to a mysterious figure in the distance. Nestled among the dense foliage, the figure appears to be enveloped in darkness, obscuring its precise features. With a sense of curiosity, the hiker decided to zoom in on the enigmatic presence. Upon closer examination, it became evident that this entity possessed dark fur and a substantial size. Initial thoughts of it being a bear or perhaps a gorilla crossed the hiker's mind. However, the remarkable height of this creature raised intriguing questions. Could it be, as some speculate, a potential sighting of the legendary Bigfoot? Like many such encounters, this footage fuels the ongoing debate about the existence of cryptids like Bigfoot. What are your thoughts on this compelling footage? Lynx are majestic creatures of the snow. They're found in the northern parts of America, mostly in places where there is an abundance of snowshoe hare, aka their favorite delicacy. They belong to the feline family and are nocturnal, but you can't deny seeing them during the day with their fur in the sunlight is just mesmerizing. Oh, what I wouldn't give for one of these cats. They're as graceful as they are beautiful, but should you see one in the wild, do the needful thing and keep your distance. Beautiful and majestic or not, they're still wild animals and should be considered as such. This hairless creature was spotted by a group of men. Since they didn't know if the creature was harmful or harmless, they decided to beat it up. The animal had brown skin with sharp claws and teeth, so I get why the men were intimidated by it, but that's still not enough to justify harming the creature since it didn't pose any threat to them. When experts were called in to investigate the situation, they found out that the creature was actually a bear, a Malayan sun bear. These bears are actually smaller and can only reach a maximum of 28 inches in height and weigh a maximum of 143 pounds in weight. The men who might not have known this almost beat the poor creature to death through no fault of it. Shame on those men. Fortunately, the experts were able to nurse the animal to health and release it into the wild, where it belonged. In the green lands of southwest Victoria, an unknown creature was spotted. The creature was moving on all fours like a fox or wolf. The top part of its fur was brown and its lower back was striped. This creature resembled a thylacine, an animal that had become extinct in the 1900s. The thylacine was also known as the Tasmanian wolf because it looked like one, and sometimes also referred to as the Tasmanian tiger because of the stripes on its back were like that of a tiger. The last of its kind died in the zoo in the year 1936, which makes the sighting of this new creature quite profound. If this turns out to be true, which I hope it is, then this is big news. It makes me wonder what other extinct species are waiting to be discovered. Any paranormal enthusiast may think that this deer is possessed by some form of demon or something. Another might even suspect that it might be the mysterious deer lady who is known for seducing and murdering unsuspecting men. I, at one point, thought so too. But taking a deeper, closer look, it becomes apparent that there is nothing supernatural happening here. No lighting, strange sounds, or transformations are happening. The deer is actually sick. At that point, the footage becomes a very sad one. This deer looks to be panting and rolling around in the grass, but is not having fun. It's suffering from chronic wasting disease. This disease usually affects moose, deer, elk, and reindeer and was detected in the USA, Canada, South Korea, and Norway. The disease affects the brain and spine of these animals. It's caused by certain proteins called prions that attack other proteins in the brain and spine. It affects just the cervid family, which means cattle are excluded. This disease does not have a cure and takes about a year to finally weaken and kill its victim. The deer you see struggling here is unfortunately in its last stages, and it keeps struggling until it falls out of exhaustion and finally dies. A moment of silence for the deer. I guess this footage is the classic example of a hide-and-seek game gone wrong. These two bear cubs were playing in a tree trunk that had a huge hole in it. The hole was big enough for the cubs to fit in them, but unfortunately they got stuck. The scared cubs let out cries for help, most likely hoping their mom would come for them. She never did, perhaps because she didn't hear them or didn't know where they were. Fortunately, the owner of the property did. Seeing what was wrong, he realized that there was no way he could defuse the situation. He then called in the experts who got there as soon as they could. Once they were there, they cut bigger holes in the trunk, which were big enough for the cubs to escape. Once they felt safe, the naughty cubs ran out of the tree and headed for the woods. Mama Bear is surely gonna scold them, but when she realizes why they were late, she should be grateful that they're alive at least. This footage reveals an unknown vicinity which is adorned with lush green groves of trees as the night sky heads towards nighttime. In the far left corner, there's a retreating figure that appears to have humanoid shape, possibly a predator. Without more specific information or visual details, it's challenging to identify the exact species of the retreating figure. It's essential to remember that nature is full of these predator-prey dynamics, and they're part of the natural balance in ecosystems as a deer comes into view, but doesn't seem to be vigilant to evade potential threats. With the actions of the dark figure, could it have been targeting the deer and on its way to capture it? What are your thoughts?
I told you I wasn't kidding.
This video was filmed inside the Mira Mesa tunnel, which appears to be adorned with graffiti artwork, giving it a distinct and artistic character. A group of friends decided to venture into this tunnel on the night of May the 9th. While it was supposed to be your everyday fun walk, they ended up capturing and experiencing a bizarre series of intriguing events. First, they started hearing things and tried to find the individual or being responsible for it.
I told you I wasn't kidding.
After a few minutes, they're unable to find anyone and they continue their adventure. Then the disturbance returns again, but this time on both sides of the tunnel. Naturally, those eerie events created a heightened sense of tension and uncertainty.
Okay, now we heard it from both sides. All right, let's go.
Fearing for their lives, they decided to leave and walk toward the exit. As they reach the end of the tunnel, we see an assortment of items, including a table and various other objects. We are unsure why these are here, but the experience raises intriguing questions. Why go there in the dead of the night? Why go at all? What if there was a strange creature or some venomous snake or something in there? Am I overreacting? Well, maybe I am, but perhaps I should ask you too. Would you venture into such a place in the dead of night? How would you have reacted? Tell us in the comments section, and if you've had such an experience in tunnels, please share as well. Could you have multiple paranormal experiences and impartation without realizing it? Well, our next clip seems to suggest so.
তো তখন কিন্তু আমি কাছে ছিলাম তখন আর কি পরিস্থিতি হয়েছিল সেটা যদি একটু বল
The YouTube channel BD Ghost Hunter posted this footage online after their crew ventured into the woods to investigate paranormal activities. As the video begins, one of the crew members is seen standing in front of a tree. However, just a few seconds later, a strange yellowish orb appears and disappears. It's followed by another orb, this time a pink one which appears on the other side of his head before also vanishing. It's unclear whether these orbs were reflections from their light or something paranormal. However, as the camera person pans the camera with a flashlight, a creature briefly comes into view, watching them from the shadows among two trees.
জায়গাটা এতটা
The individuals are either oblivious to the whole thing or don't seem to care much about it. Why you wouldn't care about something like this baffles me. Either they didn't really see it while filming and only saw it when they were reviewing the footage, or the authenticity of the footage is very much questionable. At least those are our thoughts. What are yours? Have you ever caught an uninvited guest trying to break into your home using the door camera? If you answered yes, did they look like this? Definitely not. The figure in question appears to possess human-like shoulders and arms, which are initially unremarkable. However, a closer examination reveals a striking peculiarity. Its hand, unlike a typical human hand, appears to be twisted and deformed, almost resembling the appendage of a person with a disability. As this mysterious entity continues to navigate through a doorway, its actions become even more confounding. Although the head remains concealed from view for the most part, as it gradually comes into frame, something truly extraordinary emerges. This figure seems to sport a long, elongated snout reminiscent of that of a horse or a dog. The sight is undeniably bizarre and leaves us grappling with a host of questions. What could this entity be? And how can we make sense of its curious combination of human and animal-like features? Is this a mere trick of the camera or something more inexplicable? That we may never find out, but what do you think? Ever heard of spirit guides, or in this case, spirit protectors? This footage was taken at a national park in Fresno. These ghost-like skinny creatures were spotted walking in the night in the park. They looked like a body without arms and heads, just legs and white pants. These entities are actually nothing new in Fresno. They're said to be ancient spirits that roam in the forest to protect and even pose no danger to humans. They're also called nightcrawlers, so if you spot any of these, don't sweat it. You're probably in good hands. Note the word probably. Bears are great climbers, especially when it comes to their food, and this trail cam video does not say otherwise. At first glance, you might think the bear just climbed the tree to perform a stunt on the rope above, but a closer look will reveal that there is a dead bird on the rope. But forget the bird. Did you know bears could climb that? Bear in mind, this is not a circus bear. It's not been trained to do that. Pun intended. Somehow the bear was able to get up the tree, navigate the rope, and hang on with its bare teeth. These creatures can weigh up to 500 to 600 pounds. If you understand that, you should know that this is no mean feat. Unfortunately, though, it doesn't make it to its goal and falls just before reaching its prize. If you ever have to get away from a bear, let this video teach you not to climb trees in an attempt to get away. Even ropes are not safe. You know that feeling when you're in the dark alone, but you feel another presence beside you and you can't make out what it is? Well, this trail cam footage is a typical example. In it, we see a fox scouting a field in the dark. But look closely, there's more. Just behind the fox in the darkness, we see two eyes that appear mysteriously and are about the size of a human. The fox notices the mysterious and ominous presence and looks in that direction. It tries to make it out, but isn't sure what to do. It stares in confusion as it sees eyes from behind the bushes, but isn't quite sure what to make of it. And just like the fox, we're left wondering, what is this mysterious presence? Analyzing the footage, I'm very sure the creature is at least 6 feet tall. Could we be possibly looking at another Bigfoot scenario? Well, we can't say for sure, but whatever was lurking in the shadows is surely bad news. You wouldn't want it following you. This trail cam footage caught sight of the two animals fighting over a meal. It's a known tactic between the two, and this bobcat in question has been doing this for days. The coyote has had enough at this point and didn't mind making the bobcat a part of its meal. Recognizing this, the bobcat did what any self-respecting bobcat would do. It retreated. Have you ever been disadvantaged while doing something and used it as an excuse to quit? Well, meet Monsieur Pussycat, who had all reasons to give up on his life. Watching the video for a few more minutes, you'll realize that Monsieur Pussycat has only 3 legs. Despite this, it's taken up the role of protecting its territory and all within it. This fox found that out the hard way. It visited Monsieur Pussycat's territory to steal an egg. Eggs are some of the favorite things foxes like to eat. But today was not going to be business as usual for Mr. Fox. As you can see in the footage, the cat's standing over a plate with what looks to be an egg on it. A fox comes by and attempts to take the egg, but the cat was not going to have any of that. It takes a defensive stance and fends off the fox despite having only 3 legs. If this cat teaches us anything, it's that attitude matters a lot. I'm pretty sure that the fox was very confused and didn't know how to process it all. In the end, the fox retreated and the cat emerged victorious. Wait till the other foxes find out that the 3-legged cat defeated it. It won't live it down in its lifetime. This next footage is a bit unusual. A woman came across the carcass of this dead but unusual creature. Not knowing what she was seeing, she called in experts to come to take a look at the creature, fearing it might be something undocumented or unknown. It looks like a reptile and was 4 feet long. The creature had a snout and a long tail with claws. It appeared shrunken and dry. It could be a Komodo dragon or a monitor lizard, but if not, it might be an unknown creature in the bushes. What do you think? This footage was captured near Nevada's Nellis Air Force Base in the morning sky when the recorder spotted a white flying object. Upon closer examination, it's clear that this isn't an airplane. It lacks typical aircraft features and has a distinct tic-tac or pill-like shape. It's gliding through the atmosphere at an incredibly fast pace, dominating the daytime sky. This can only be one thing, another UFO sighting. Experts were consulted, and they unanimously concluded that it was not an airplane. They described it as chunky, ruling out any conventional aircraft. When comparing this footage to the recorder's other airplane videos, the distinct shape of this object, along with the absence of typical aircraft features, highlights the stark difference. Is this a UFO? Tell us what you think. Imagine being in the comfort of your own home when something inexplicable occurs. That's precisely what happened to the individual who captured this bizarre incident on camera. In the footage, we see a peculiar orb, a mysterious glowing sphere floating around. It seems to move with a sense of purpose, almost as if it's dancing, all while an oblivious cat strolls by. But this isn't an isolated event. Similar orbs have been spotted in various locations worldwide. The big question is, what are these orbs? What could their presence signify? My money is on demonic or spiritual activity. But what's yours? This video was captured in the dead of night, and as the recorder ventured deeper into the woods, feeling he was being followed or watched, he decided to say hello.
Hello?
His voice echoes a friendly hello into the darkness, and in response, an eerie sound emanates from somewhere ahead. Through the camera lens, we catch a glimpse of a peculiar white figure. It doesn't appear to have typical physical features. Instead, it seems to be clad entirely in white clothing with holes strategically cut around the eyes for visibility. Suddenly, this enigmatic creature has its attention on the explorer. In an unexpected twist, it seems to dive, reminiscent of a large fish descending back into the sea. It appears as though the creature is attempting to approach the recorder. This sudden movement prompts an immediate reaction from the explorer. He hastily turns the camera away from the creature and, quite understandably, decides to make a run for it. The identity of this mysterious creature remains a puzzle, and the nature of its response to the explorer's greeting adds an element of intrigue to the encounter. What could this creature be, and why did it react the way it did? These questions linger even among members of the paranormal with no certain answers. What do you think? What do you see? A hairless dog or a chupacabra? This pale, hairless creature was spotted in a field in Missouri. The hairless creature looks like a dog. Some have speculated that the creature may be a type of dog, but no one has confirmed this by examining the animal close up. As someone who's interested in paranormal phenomena, even I find it hard to believe that this is a chupacabra. But what do you think this animal is? A stray dog or the infamous chuppy? Next, we have footage from a daring group of YouTubers from the Sharby channel who embarked on an adventure that led them deep into a remote graveyard within a dense forest. Little did they know that they were about to encounter more than they had bargained for.
Okay, yo, let's get the out of here, man. No, okay, that's it.
Their eerie journey commenced with the discovery of an old crowbar lying ominously on the ground. The very sight of this rusty piece of metal seemed to bother them, but they forged ahead regardless. They then discarded the crowbar and dismissed their unease in their bid to enjoy their adventure. As they delved further into the graveyard, their uneasiness only intensified, especially when they stumbled upon an ancient grave dating back to the 1800s. To their bewilderment, the weather took a bizarre turn and it began to snow. In October, a truly inexplicable phenomenon. The most unsettling discovery was, however, yet to come. A peculiar doll was found leaning against a tombstone. Anyone remotely interested in the paranormal or someone who has at least seen horror movies know dolls in eerie places are to be avoided, and our explorers understood that. At that moment, the adventurers could no longer ignore the eerie aura that surrounded them. With a quick and unanimous decision, they made a hasty exit from the unsettling graveyard, leaving behind an enigma that still lingers in their memories. What do you think about the whole thing? In Mexico, a street surveillance camera captured an eerie and puzzling scene. In the video, a woman dressed in white emerges from the darkness into a well-lit area. She appears to be in distress, looking behind her and running while shouting for help. It seems something is pursuing her. However, when you inspect the area behind her, there is nothing visible. Upon closer examination, as the woman reaches the well-lit path, you can spot a smoky, human-like apparition at the end of the wall she emerged from. This entity seems to be following her, but as soon as she enters the well-lit area, it comes to a halt, standing in the darkness. This strange encounter captured by the surveillance camera is very strange. I'm sure if the camera hadn't captured this, no one would have believed her. Have you ever had one of those feelings when you knew someone was around? Those feelings you typically have in the shower when you have soap all over your face and a still voice tells you to open your eyes because someone is there. Typically there's no one, right? But what if there was someone? Well, take a look at this footage. This leopard had similar feelings, and when it turned around, there it was, an animal as large as it was. It went into instinct mode and jumped. And who can blame it? It didn't know what it was. A few seconds into its high and panicky jump, it realizes it's another cat in its family. If it were me, someone would definitely get the slipper. In the midst of a remote, snowy wilderness, a group of friends embark on a journey deep into the heart of the unknown, hoping for a thrill. As they venture deeper, amidst the eerie silence of this secluded realm, a mysterious figure comes into view. It's a being that seems to be plucked from the annals of cryptozoology, the Bigfoot. The infamous, hairy, and towering creature is running, its movements both swift and elusive. Adding to the intrigue, the video captures more than just a Bigfoot. Through the eerie green light of the camera, another mysterious figure of similar height and stature emerges. What do you make of this particular occurrence? Is it truly Bigfoot, or could there be an even stranger explanation for these chilling figures in the snow? The comments section awaits your thoughts and theories. Please head over and share them. In this next footage, a woman ventured into the forest in search of edible plants. As she carefully explored the vegetation, she suddenly noticed an unusual movement within some nearby bushes. Without hesitation, she promptly fled from the scene. The source of this movement could have been a concealed animal, the rustling of leaves in the wind, or even an individual. Regardless, her quick departure was a wise choice, as the situation might have posed a potential danger. But if you were the one in this situation, what would you have done? If you said flee, well, that's a good decision, but there's more. After the footage was sent to us, we did some digging and realized the footage was from an individual filming themselves in the forest. This makes us think it might have all been planned, but then again, what do you think? What would you do if you were walking around at night and suddenly came across a doll in the middle of the road? Well, if it were me, I'd just walk away, but no, not the one who filmed the clip. He stands for a while, recording the strange doll and wondering what to do. As he stands staring at the doll, it suddenly moves and topples over. This sends shivers down his spine. After standing for a second or two, he makes a tactical retreat. But you have to wonder, is this whole thing believable? Why did the doll suddenly fall like that? If it's real, is there an otherworldly creature controlling it? Questions, questions, and questions. In another peculiar scenario, a homeowner was left in astonishment when he reviewed the footage from this outdoor security camera. In the dead of night, the camera captured an almost naked man standing in front of the house. This man was engaging in a bizarre and erratic dance. The situation didn't appear to be a mere prank, but rather suggested the involvement of a person dealing with mental health issues or under the influence of drugs. It's evident that the individual was not under any supervision, and wandering around nearly nude in the street raises concerns for their safety. Hopefully, this person is located and provided with the necessary assistance and support they require. Ever had such an experience? Please share in the comments section. Speaking of sharing experiences, please send in your clips. As long as they're bizarre and out of this world, we will feature them. And if you're unsure of what you captured, don't worry. I'm sure the thousands of subscribers who watch the videos could help you make sense of it. Simply send it to classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. Moving on. Check out this intriguing footage shared by TikTok user Merch85. It's not your typical day at the beach, that's for sure. Here's what went down. You've got a group of folks having a blast in the water, just soaking up the sun in the sea. Everything seems perfectly normal until a wave crashes in. That's when things get weird. Before the wave hits, there's this young boy in the scene. But as the wave rolls back out, something unbelievable happens. The boy somehow morphs into a full-grown man. It's like he hit a fast-forward button on his life underwater. Now, we're left scratching our heads. Is it some sort of camera trickery, an optical illusion, or a glitch in the Matrix? What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you still haven't hit the like button, subscribed, or even dropped a comment, could you do it now? Thank you very much. It means a lot to us and allows us to create more content like this. What could this be? If I didn't know any better, I'd even suspect it to be the sting of some giant scorpion or the curled-up tail of a very large animal. There's no other way to come up with a perfect description if we can't see the full thing. After watching the initial seconds, we began to speculate about the creature we were about to encounter. Our speculation, however, is short-lived as we're soon introduced to the creature in all its glory. There are many interpretations we could give to this, but the YouTuber responsible for the footage, who is from the channel Unknowns, believes this is footage of something unique, wild, and previously undiscovered, and he just so happens to conveniently capture this while on a solo camping trip in the mountains. As much as we'd love to take his word for it, there are a couple of possibilities here. It could be a person in a costume, perhaps staged for attention and views. Alternatively, someone with more sinister intentions could be stalking the camper and waiting for the right moment to unsettle him. We see no paranormal being here, but we still believe someone dangerous could potentially be stalking him. What do you think? Does it look more like some sort of a hoax or prank meant to throw us off, or do you believe the young man really encountered something dangerous and scary? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. We'd really love to hear them. This next footage presents us with yet another enigma, a creature that defies easy classification. The individual recording stumbled upon a peculiar entity which left him puzzled. Wanting to have more evidence of his encounter, he filmed it, which is how we have the footage you are seeing on your screen. The creature in question appears to be white and long-necked, with a small body, yet having no legs like a snake, or, given the circumstances, a giant earthworm. Its initial impression is akin to an uprooted, germinating plant placed on a car tire. However, closer scrutiny reveals that this being lacks any discernible eyes or visible means of ingestion or defense. With his curiosity piqued, the observer decides to interact with the creature using a stick, and this unusual encounter takes a surprising turn. The creature responds to the stick's touch by opening its mouth, suggesting a heightened sensitivity to tactile stimuli. Further experimentation follows as the recorder gently prods the creature's rear with the stick. Once again, the creature reacts, this time swiveling its entire neck toward the source of the stimulation, as if attempting to bite the stick. No, not as if it actually means to bite. The identity of this bizarre creature remains elusive. Could it be a previously undiscovered species, perhaps an organism adapted to a unique ecological niche? Or is it something altogether different, defying our understanding of life forms? You tell us. And you know, one more thing. I won't be surprised if one of you actually knows what it is. In the era of trail cam captures, it's customary to expect glimpses of wildlife and the occasional mysterious phenomena. However, there is some footage that transcends the ordinary and ventures into the territory of sheer perplexity. The footage we're about to delve into was a prime example of such an enigma. The scene is familiar. Lush greenery and dense vegetation fill the frame. However, it's the moment within this serene wilderness that captures our attention. From the midst of the trees emerges an unexpected sight, a human figure. But this isn't your typical encounter. The individual in question appears to be a naked man crawling painstakingly across the ground. Naturally, this prompts a series of questions. What could have prompted such behavior? Is there a story behind this bizarre sighting? Unfortunately, the trail camera's owner, like us, was left pondering these mysteries. The fate and motive of this crawling figure remains elusive, leaving us with another chapter in the book of unexplained phenomena. Venturing into the woods at night can be a thrilling and eerie experience. It's definitely a setting where the unexpected can certainly occur, and our final clip depicts that perfectly. In this case, a YouTube crew filming in the dark wilderness stumbled upon a pale humanoid figure that promptly fled upon noticing their presence. This sighting raises more questions than it provides answers. It's often challenging to determine if the figure is a naked person or a creature due to the low visibility and the unsettling nature of the encounter. The forest's dense canopy and the darkness of night can play tricks on one's perception, adding to the mystery of what was observed. What do you think? That concludes today's episode. Thanks for staying with us. If you have any trail cam footage you'd like the rest of the world to see, please send it over to us at classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll upload it in our next episode and give you the credit unless you want to remain anonymous. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps us out a ton. See you in the next one.